Well, hey guys, I'm Matt. This is Living Looney Bin.
Hello.
So I'm gonna be doing Dead Space 3 New Game Plus 90%. Um, there was console categories, but they were removed. But I still call mine PC because it's a lot different.
The same thing.
Yeah, but tricks don't work, dude. Right, so
Anyway,
let's get started. So, if you didn't know already, Dead Space has cutscenes, unskippable cutscenes. So, enjoy the introduction. It's really good. So, Ryan here already did a run at the
yeah.
marathon. He ran Solus Project.
So, Dead Space 3, we're going to start 200 years before the events of any of the games on this random icy planet with this character named Tim.
Tim is the best. He's the true main character of this game because he looks like me. That's about it, really.
Time didn't start yet. Time starts when gain control. It's
Yeah,
in about a minute.
when I start moving, Sphere, that's when you start the timer. I'll let you know when it's
Just
getting close.
Count it down. Matt, count it down. But yeah, so he's been sent on a mission to find this cylinder thing by someone named Dr. Serrano. Doesn't really explain much at this point.
Alright, it's coming up to starting the time. I'll just say go, and then you can start the timer. Okay, and go. So this is basically the prologue. Not really much to say. You just walk and do things and do some rappels.
Matt,
Yes.
move the mic a little bit away from your face.
Oh, thank you for the advice. So, basically, if you're walking slow like this, it's faster if you aim, but it's not faster if you have a two-handed weapon, so we can't do it there.
So the prologue, there's not much to it. You just kind of run through and do it as intended. You can actually get out of bounds here, and it's the largest map in the game. But for what, I don't know why it's the largest map in the game, because it's the shortest actual level. But you can like run for like something like half an hour just out of bounds before actually the level is no longer like solid. But yeah, so you just open the door and the necromorphs show up. But fighting necromorphs is slow. So Matt's just gonna run through them here.
Yeah. I didn't get grabbed. That's good. So, this rappel, you just basically hold forward and shift.
Body. So
not really much to do.
So the way this game, the collision detection in the game is tied to the frame rate. And so when we're playing on PC, we want to play with a really high frame rate, and that allows a lot of skips to happen. It also really glitches out dead bodies, and they like to spin around in place forever, or they like to jump around, or they like to just fly off into space sometimes. It's always pretty interesting.
Yeah, if you didn't know, you could just literally hold right here and don't have to do anything. They won't hit you. You don't have to shoot out the engine and go through it. Yeah, and now enjoy more cutscenes.
Yeah. So what's happening here is you got found out by the general, and basically these guys, this is 200 years before the main events of Dead Space, and these guys screwed up and let a necromorph infection happen. So they're basically just like, yo, if we just kill everyone, the necromorph infection will get everyone, but it won't spread off this planet. So we're just gonna kill everyone.
Fine young soldiers, every one of them.
General Mahad, sir.
Oh, about the FPS as well. As Ryan said, a lot of the tricks in the game require a certain FPS. If I know what kind of FPS the trick requires, I'll try and mention it as I do it. But co-op for this game is the fastest way to finish it. Me and my friend, the Thronus, have a time of just over 2 hours, like 2 hours and 32 seconds, I think. Because co-op has a lot more skips than solo, because on co-op you can clip through walls by using each other. But that is the highest FPS required trick in general. You need really high FPS to do that and good connection. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, you went offline on Origin. I thought like your computer died or something.
The stream's died for me, the restream.
Oh well.
Where are you still in the prologue or in chapter 1?
Oh, it's starting. It's starting the cutscene with Isaac now. As usual, more cutscenes.
Okay.
Brothers and sisters, the age of man
So
is at an end.
now we get instruction to where Isaac's been since Dead Space 2. You learn that.
So this is, it's not that long after Dead Space 2. And Isaac and Ellie, after Dead Space 2, after they escaped the sprawl, have gotten together, and then Isaac, being obsessed with just the trauma he's experienced, kind of ruined the relationship. And so she's left him. And he's a bit sad about that. And then not the unitologists, the EarthGov soldiers show up.
Oh, I got the glitch where it did show my gun. So
No, it always does that in New Game Plus.
does it? I thought it always. I thought it was there. No, I think it's on co-op that it actually shows it when they drop it. So yeah, if you didn't know, and if you haven't played Dead Space 2 or 3, there's a thing called a foam finger. In Dead Space 2, it's called the foam finger. In this, it's called the Devil's Horns.
The Devil Horns.
But that's what we're going to be using throughout the run, because
It
it's
is
obviously
by far the best weapon in the game. You get it in Dead Space 2. You have to beat hardcore mode. Unfortunately, on PC, it doesn't actually unlock the weapon, so you can only really get it on console. In Dead Space, that was in Dead Space 2. Sorry, in Dead Space 3, you play the game through in classic difficulty, and classic difficulty is the high difficulty mode where you're only allowed to use Dead Space 2 and 1 weapons, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, it goes bang, bang, bang. Yes, it's a great soundbite. So, chapter 1. Wait, is there any skips in chapter? No, there isn't.
No, it's...
More just optimized movement and stuff.
Okay, I said I'd help you. Now where's Ellie? How long is
So, the fastest way to go through doors, if the door opens by going up, you can just crouch under it. And that's the good thing about this game, and that's why this one is the most broken out of the 3.
Italian? What do you mean?
This game has crouching and rolling, which Dead Space 1 and 2 don't. So it allows a lot more skips than the other games. So here I'm going to do a trick. We call it the swag roll, where basically we're going to roll past a suicide guy. Right, as he's about to
Essentially,
explode.
the rolls in this game have some invincibility frames on them, so we can use them to dodge things like explosions and grabs. You will still take damage, but any like displacement effects, like the knockback from the explosion, won't hit you. You didn't get it?
No. What was supposed to happen is the grenade was supposed to blow up as I rolled, but I think I rolled either too late or too early. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's only a very small time save. You mostly do it because it looks cool.
You could just shoot the guy.
Yeah, but it looks cooler.
Let's see if I get the stasis first try.
Extraction team waiting.
No, I missed. But yeah. So, the main part where, like, the first 20 minutes of this run is nothing really too special.
There's a few checkpoint restarts to skip cutscenes and dialogue, but that's about it.
Brothers and sisters,
This isn't just a
the AHM
it's system slaughter. Noted. But why temple the government? Why Earth Gov?
Danik blames them for experimenting with the markers, thinks it's heresy. So you can imagine what they think of you. Have you reached the extraction site yet?
I'm almost there.
So now we get the introduction to the best character in this game,
The Bond villain.
the Bond villain, aka
Dead
Danik.
Space 3's very own Bond villain.
I call him Ponytail.
This one's still alive. Bring him here.
He's essentially he's the leader of the unitologists, at least the militarized section of them. They're after you because, well, they're trying to set off the markers, and you have a track record of destroying them.
Oh, don't waste your energy. You're going to be dead in the match.
But in typical Bond villain fashion, he won't ever kill you when he gets you, for contrived reasons.
Yeah, but dude, if he did that, there wouldn't be a story.
It's a marker test lab. They're everywhere in all the major colonies and outposts. As part of the marker test program, Isaac, you help make them.
Colton Johnny Ash Nemesis.
You of all people get to watch
So,
me set them free.
the basic concept of the cutscenes in this game is, in every Dead Space game, the cutscenes are unskippable.
Nature must take
This one, because it has so many actual skips, it's got the shortest. Wait, does Dead Space 2 have the shortest amount of cutscenes, or is it less?
Dead Space 2 has less cutscenes.
Right, yeah, I thought so. So this still has a lot of
It's
cutscenes.
a lot of Dead Space 1 and 2, they're unskippable, but you still have control. And so you can still do stuff and like set up weapons and buy stuff and do other things while cutscenes play. In Dead Space 3, they switched to actual just cinematic cutscenes for a lot of it. And so while this game is the shortest if you play co-op, and the second shortest to Dead Space 2 if you just run the game single player, it has by far the most downtime. But it has also the most interesting gameplay.
So yeah, we're gonna shoot out these glass to just go through the glass because it's faster. Oh, I've got the wrong gun out.
The necromorphs in this area are a new necromorph that's introduced in Dead Space 3. It's called the Waster. They're different names depending on who you ask. But essentially they're just these regular looking guys. Well, they're dead obviously, but they're holding weapons. They'll hold different weapons in different parts of the games. Later on they'll hold guns as well. The big problem with the Wasters is they're one of the only enemies that can survive a shot from the hand cannon, because when you cut off the top part of their body, they'll change forms based on what you destroy. And so sometimes when you shoot them with the hand cannon, they will start their animation to split up and they won't just die straight away. But other than that, the damage is super low, they're really not a problem.
Right, so we're gonna move these trains because game wants us to.
You're gonna build
used to-
yourself a train.
I used to move them on controller. It's a little bit faster to use the mouse, even though where I have my mouse is very small. So sometimes I wouldn't have room as I'm moving it, but it's not too difficult.
The number one problem with the hand cannon, although it's the strongest weapon in the game, there are two major downsides to using it in a New Game Plus run, which actually leads to some people not using it, is one, both the top and the bottom. So each weapon in this game has an alt fire. For the hand cannon, the alt fire, instead of saying bang bang, he says pew pew, but it's exactly the same thing. And that's like Whereas if you take a different weapon, you can have like a situational, say like a rocket launcher or something to deal AoE damage. The other problem is, as you may notice, there is no aiming reticule for the weapon, so long-range aiming can be quite difficult.
Right, so we're going to do a dialogue skip here. Hopefully I won't crash my game. So when the dialogue starts, we go up to checkpoint restart, and it skips the dialogue. We're just going to roll past these shots. I got shots, okay.
Yeah. Use the iframes of the Isaac's rolling, and you just got to make sure you get the rolls quickly enough after each one ends in order to dodge the gunfire from the ship.
So this is where we're going to take advantage of aiming while walking. If you're staggering really slowly, you can just aim with a one-handed weapon and it's faster than just walking. So we're going to restart this ladder, and it makes the ship
skips some more dialogue at the top.
And it makes the ships be right ready to pick you up. Usually you'll be waiting for a few seconds.
So we get picked up by the USM Eudora, I believe it is. Yeah, it's Eudora. And we're going to head off into space to try and find Ellie.
Looking at the time, this is actually a good run so far. Even though there's not really much to do, but you can lose. I mean, I lost like 3 seconds not getting the swag roll, so. So, more cutscenes. This one isn't very long, but the next one is.
Yeah, so this is really where you get the introduction to Carver, even though you've met him a few times. And Carver is the co-op partner. So he'll appear in a lot of cutscenes, but he'll leave you alone in single player. Because they'll usually find random reasons for why he has to take a different path when you're playing single player. But in co-op, the second player plays as Carver. So they're just talking about like what's happened to the rest of their team, which was with Ellie. So they found a suspected lead in order to some way to stop the markers and stop the necromorph infections. And so they've headed off to this random ass planet. And so you followed them because they haven't reported back. And you took Isaac with you for marker killing. Yes.
Also, I'm running the game on the lowest possible graphics you can, because it just makes the game look a bit cleaner in terms of being able to see what you're doing. Like, you can remove shadows and stuff, so the game isn't as dark. It's a lot easier to play the game.
It also increases your frame rate, which is good for the skips.
Yeah. So once we get EVA suit, and after the next section, that's when the run becomes actually interesting.
I'm reading several transponders, but none of them are ours. According to the registry.
This section is they make it. They mention the moon. The moon won't be mentioned again until the very end of the game.
It's an SOS coming from that ship.
But it's actually integral to the plot, even though they don't mention it for the rest of the game. And my favorite part about this section is it has this one cutscene here that we're in right now, and then it will give you control for about 3 steps, and then put you in another cutscene.
Dude, it's they just want to make you feel like you're in the game.
In fact, then they do it again, and then you walk another like 5 steps, and you have another cutscene. So that cutscene takes 5 seconds. So they're all freaking out because they ran into a bunch of mines. Isaac's the only one with a calm head because he's used to everything going wrong.
And his life.
But then he realizes, oh shit, I'm still in a jacket and jeans. We're about to go out into the vacuum of space. Should probably find a way to fix that. And this isn't like Dead Space 2 where you can get the hacker suit and just put a gas mask on your face in order to survive.
Isn't this the same suit as the hacker suit? That just the jacket's a little bit different.
It's slightly different design, and you also don't have the face mask, obviously. But yeah, for the most part, it is the same suit. So this corridor has 2 explosion triggers on it. If you're aiming and moving in the right angles, you can get the explosions to knock you forward instead of backwards, which saves a few seconds.
Yeah. I got one of the boosts forward, but I didn't get the second one. So now we get the EVA suit. Watch his chest get sucked into the vacuum of space, clearly, as he puts it on.
He's holding his breath, dude. Don't you get it?
Right, so now we get our first introduction to Zero G in this game.
Zero G, like Zero G in Dead Space 2, is just completely free flying. This is different to the Zero Gravity in Dead Space 1, where you were stuck to walls and you'd fly between walls. It turns out,
Thanks for the look,
if you allow us to freely fly around, you can break the game. This is the first jump section. They really like to shove these into Dead Space 3. There's a bunch of them. We skip quite a few of them though. And it's just like, oh, you're flying at this thing, dodge all the stuff. They did it like twice in Dead Space 2, but they do it like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 times in Dead Space 3. I can't remember how many times they do it. It's a lot.
I think we do it like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times, but like if you do the last area normally, you do it like over and over again.
You just have to go back and forth, yeah, but we don't do that. So, when I fly into this, I don't know what you call it, the box that they're on, it's like, I don't know what to call it.
It's part of the ship that they sealed off.
So we're going to pause, and we're going to checkpoint restart to,
skip the cutscene.
Yeah, skip the cutscene, and now here is the first skip. So,
let's skip the game. Which one are you doing?
Shout out to the devs. I'm gonna do the funnier one, so because it's a lot safer too. There is another skip here which saves an extra 30 seconds, but if I mess it up, I get stuck and I have to restart. So shout out to the devs of this game because they clearly know how to program. Well, I wouldn't say program, just make the game right, because you can just come around here.
They missed a wall
and just fly through this wall. And then we're going to fly in this direction. Wait, I think this is bad. Okay, I still hit it. So we're going to find that direction, hit a checkpoint. It puts us inside, and that skips...
It skips just the opening dialogue and a few things. It saves about 30 seconds to doing the area normally.
It's too thick. I might cycle open if I can power it up.
Oh, I haven't moved these boxes in a while. So not good at it.
There's actually a few other walls in the ships that are not solid. However, that's the only really one that's useful. But we'll soon find out. We'll find out a bit later in this run that it doesn't matter even if they are solid, because Isaac in Zero G cares not for solid walls.
It's just, you know, flying through an unsolid wall is a bit faster.
Funny you guys should mention space dogs. This cutscene that's about to come up introduces you to the dog necromorphs.
It looks like he's got a dinosaur face, to be honest. So yeah, throughout the run, I'm going to be using a keyboard mostly, except for one skip and hack panels. Hack panels, just because I used to run this game with a controller, but when I got accepted to this marathon, I decided to learn keyboard and mouse. And it's a
better.
it's a lot better. But the only things I
Yeah,
use the
that
controller
was a
for.
dog. It was very messed up, but normally in Dead Space 1 and 2, that enemy, which is the lurker, was a baby, but they thought about it and it's like, why would they take babies to on a military ship out to the middle of nowhere? So they were like, okay, there'll be service dogs instead. Undead service dogs or something.
Yeah, we just pull down these generators, turn on the power.
These generators can be kind of finicky because there's a bunch of enemies in the room, and if you take damage while you're turning them,
Stops
you have to. It stops it, and you have to start it again.
So I'm gonna make sure I've killed every enemy in this room to do a strat later on where I hack a panel. If I leave an enemy alive, he will spawn in that area, and then there will be an extra enemy, so I'll have to kill 2, and it's just a bit slower. So this is where we get introduced to Ellie and the crew.
And then the real best character of the game, Buckle.
I'll let you explain that.
There's not much to explain. It's just look at him. He's just the best, the absolute best character in the game.
You're saying that, but they don't know which one's Buckle.
The only guy, the old dude, who's like
dude,
hunched over with blood all over him. He says who he is. He introduces himself.
Yeah, but
also Santos, which is the black woman next to him, who is really dumb.
Yeah, but you got to remember, for some reason in this game, I don't know what it is, but the voice volume in the audio sliders is a lot quieter than everything else, and I tried to compensate for that, but as you can clearly hear, you can barely hear the dialogue still. There's nothing I can really do about that. Sometimes it seems like it's louder than other times. I don't know. Like, when you start the game, sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you can't. It's weird.
But anyway, Ellie. So a lot of people got really confused when Dead Space 3 released because it's like, hey, Ellie's eye got gouged out in Dead Space 2, but she has both eyes now. It's explained in the audio log that's on Isaac's bed in Chapter 1 that they actually got a replacement eye, and if you look closely, you probably don't know if you can see it on stream. One of her eyes is actually green, and the other's blue, because they couldn't afford an eye that was actually the right color, and so that's why she has both eyes. The other issues people have with her is that her character changed a lot from 2 to 3.
Yeah, she doesn't have a
ponytail. She was very strong. She really didn't give a fuck in Dead Space 2, but in Dead Space 3, she's like, "Oh, save me." She's like the damsel in distress.
I'm gonna do another skip here. Basically,
this area.
I'll let Ryan explain.
Okay. This area is basically, the necromorphs took over the room while we were talking to Ellie. We have to turn on the generators to get rid of the giant tentacles in the way so we can leave the room. Instead, we're gonna walk backwards into a corner to it offsets your hitbox, and then you can actually get onto this railing and just get over the railing to the door. Yeah. Now, that's why there isn't Dead Space 1 and 2 speedruns. There are. Dead Space 2 is actually really fun, and had I known that there would have been a new skip found in like the last few weeks for Dead Space 2, I would have submitted it to this marathon. But I'm not. Yeah, Dead Space 3 is the most popular because it has the most tech. Dead Space 2 is pretty popular because the combat's really fun in that game. Dead Space 1 it's okay, but just everything about the run is slow. Like the controls in the game are very clunky and very bad for speedrunning.
So I shoot a mine there for the enemy who drops down. It will kill him, so I can hack the panel a tiny bit sooner. And this is the panels that I use the controller for. Apart from one skip in the run, that I use the controller for, just because it's easier to set up with the controller because I'm used to it. That's the only other part I use the controller is those hack panels.
Yeah. The hack panels are really easy on controller because you just use both thumbsticks to move the two nodes. On PC, you either have to use the WASD and the arrow keys, or the WASD and the mouse. And when you don't have the thumbsticks, the movement of those two things can be really awkward.
Two for what game?
Dead Space 1.
Oh, Dead
I would
Space
assume.
1.
No, Dead Space 1's quicker than that.
It's like 221, isn't it? No, 222.
In my opinion, Dead Space 2 is the best Dead Space, but in terms of a speed run, probably Dead Space 3.
What is it? What's going on?
I used to think Dead Space 1 was the best, but then I replayed it, and it's like replayed it with like a speedrunner in mind, and it's like, this game is very clunky. And part of that is like intentional, because like, oh, you're an engineer, you don't know what you're doing. But
World record for Dead Space 3 isn't 241, it's 216.31 for New Game Plus, and then New Game it's 226, and then co-op is 2 hours and 32 seconds. There's if you go to speedrun.com, the leaderboards are there.
No one uploads Dead Space to SDA. No one has in a very long time.
Alright, let's regroup in the control room. We can plan our next move from there.
Clark, shake it off. Let's go. Clark.
I played Dead Space 1 twice.
So-
Yeah, the thing about the 3 games is they progressively moved away from the horror into more of an action type game, and some people didn't like it. Some people liked the more scarier elements in Dead Space 1, but personally I think the more action-based is a bit more fun.
So we're coming up to a pretty big skip in the run. It's new, but there used to be an old way to do it called 4-station skip. And then there's a section after that called Half Station, which you would do normally, but this new skip skips both of them.
Yeah.
And this skip was actually found after I submitted it to the run. I submitted it to the marathon, so this is a pretty new skip. Don't grab me. Okay.
Yeah. So the Terra Nova is split into 3 parts: 4-station, mid-station, and off-station. Mid-station's an optional mission, so we never done it. Originally, you would just do the whole area glitchless. We found an out-of-bounds trick to skip the 4-station, so you would just go straight to the off-station, But only a couple weeks ago, Matt here found a trick that we'd been looking for a while, because we knew the checkpoint existed, which was a way to hit a checkpoint and just get to the end of off-station from just the start of that area.
Let's get the shuttle so we can head home already.
Yeah, we just wait for the dialogue here, and then we can open the door. I clearly succeeded at putting the battery on Ellie's head.
Yeah, a lot of people thought the horror aspect was the most important part. For me, I really liked the unique combat in Dead Space, like the whole having to dismember enemies. So when the game switched to a more action style, and it felt a lot better to play.
Right here, Norton's talking to you. But when we hop outside, I'm just going to checkpoint restart, and it skips his dialogue, so you don't have to wait, because usually you would have to wait for that dialogue to end before the next dialogue begins, but just restart that and it goes away. Yeah, it's a bit ironic that they call it a skip when clearly that's what we're going to do, is do a skip.
My rig's picking up some kind of message.
It sounds encrypted.
Yeah, people used to get really confused in my streams back when I first started running this game. It's like, oh, you're doing a skip? No, I'm just going to this little gondola that's called the skip.
Wait, this thing's called the skip?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Why is it called a skip?
it's like SK1P or something. And then they each have a different alias every time you go in it, like the love boat and stuff.
So if you watch one of an older run of this game from like a few months ago, you'll probably be able to see what skip used to be done here, which was 4-station. But this new way
interesting one.
saves about an extra 7 minutes on top of doing 4 station skip, and it also does both skips in one. So now this trick, I know because I tested it, you can do this one at 60 FPS. So this one isn't a very high required trick in the run.
That being said, the higher the frame rate, the easier it is to do
Yeah,
these
yeah,
tricks.
of course, yeah. If the higher it is, you can do it pretty easily, but it can be done at 60. So
If you're getting Dead Space extraction.
we fly down here. Usually you would go back up there through the door and enter chapter 4. By the way, yes, this is the start of chapter 4, is where we're supposed to be at right now. I'm going to try and avoid shooting these mines, because if you can get far enough away from them, they'll stop chasing you.
If you just fly through that pillar up the top, they'll just hit the pillar as you go along.
Yeah, but that's slow, dude. Let me shoot these ones, because I can't hit it. Dude, I'm shooting right at it. What? There we go. That was so slow. So, we fly over here.
That is the no reticule on the weapon at work.
So basically, this area is where you would leave.
Yeah, this
Like
is the
you
way you
fly
come
out.
back to after you finish the level. Oh, I'm gonna close my window.
So we come here, line ourselves up. I'm gonna align. Look my mouse up. Okay, I didn't get it. Align. Look my mouse up. Oh, come on.
So this trick is the first 0G clip in the game. I think this is the only one now, isn't it? Basically, this takes advantage of the game tries to, when you use it like the align or you move around really quickly in 0G, the game can't keep up with the collision and it will just let you go through walls.
So basically, there we hit a checkpoint, and now we're at the end of chapter 6. So we just skipped 2 chapters. Oh, I forgot to crouch. That's not. It's okay. Basically, if you crouch there, it just stops you walking slow, but it's not that bad. I can just stay in my gun.
If anything, that's good because you can soft lock the game doing that.
Now. Yeah, if you get on these guns too fast, you can't block these canisters, and it soft locks the game. You just have to check when we start and take the elevator again. Watch me get that thing that happened to you the first time you did this, where the dialogue doesn't trigger.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that one. That
Nah.
saves time, but...
How? You can't do
'cause
greely.
No, because you can checkpoint reset as soon as you get to Greeley.
Don't you mean quick?
Oh no, wait, no, you back out. I'm pretty sure you back out in chapter load after
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
to Greeley, and then you can load, then it'll load in, and so you'll skip the dialogue.
So yeah, and now we're gonna just fly straight out the window that we basically just clipped through. So yeah, that area where the checkpoint is, nobody could figure out a way to clip in there for a long time.
We had ways to clip into the ship for years, like into the aft station, but the problem is that checkpoint there has another box around it that's invisible that we couldn't figure out how to clip into for a very long time.
So yours truly decided to try it. So now we're just gonna go to chapter 7. It's a pretty short chapter. It's not too long.
Yeah. So that's all the major tech is done for the flotilla. So we just got to finish putting the ship together and then head down to the planet.
And that's where the run gets relatively interesting. Now, Ryan here,
Oh, it's already interesting.
in terms of our times, I'm a lot better at this part. He's a lot better at the rest of the game.
Yeah, this thing needs
Yeah.
It's missing the
But yeah,
engine.
There's a small wreck near the Greeley. It could be a shuttle.
We should check it out.
I'm not very good at the actual skips, but I can play the game better.
But sir, my legs.
that's a good point.
Asking you to do jumping jacks. Thank
You're more fluent with keyboard and mouse than I am.
All right.
Well, yeah. I've been speedrunning the game since it released with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I only started running this game about, I think it was February, so like 7-8 months ago. So now we're going to go to the Greeley and we're going to try and do a skip. It's pretty easy. It just skips dialogue. It's basically you take the engine out super fast, and if you fly away fast, it skips a line of dialogue.
Pretty easy to do. The worst thing that can happen on this is if you miss that dialogue skip, but it only loses like 10 seconds. The other thing is kinesising objects with high FPS can really troll you because of the collision problems and the way just the game just messes up with high frame rate. Even though you've let go of an object, you can still be technically, according to the game, holding onto it. So when you try to grab something else, you'll instantly grab that from with that object you were just holding from wherever it's gone and just bring it back to you.
So yeah, there's the engine straight ahead. So there's panels on top of these switches, so I'm just going to try and kinesis these panels off as fast as I can. And as Ryan said, sometimes they control you and I can kinesis one straight back to me even though I let go of it.
Just want to go home, all right? I've disconnected all the lines and service tubes, but hell, I know how to get it out of there.
The other thing that can happen in this area is there are a few of those dog enemies that we were referring to before, lurkers, and they have a ranged attack. It's pretty rare for them to hit you, but because they're really far away, but sometimes they can hit you.
So that was pretty good. I didn't get trolled by the panels. I got it out pretty fast, and I didn't get hit by the dogs, so it's a win-win. Usually, most of the time, in every single one of the runs I do, I always get hit by a dog at least once, so doesn't really matter. You've got enough time to get back to the ship before the skip, as Ryan calls it, before the dialogue finishes.
Yeah.
So, now
we're heading back to the Roanoke now to finish building up the ship so we can head down to the planet. Funnily enough, just before this run started, we were able to find a new skip for this area, but it can't be done with the way Matt set it up right now because it requires you doing a different trick earlier, which is really hard to do.
It's the one that I talked about right as I flew through the wall that didn't have collision, when I said that if I messed it up, I'd have to checkpoint restart and it loses a lot of time. It's a pretty new trick, and it's
there's an alternate strat where you hit a different checkpoint, but it's a lot harder to hit because you have to go through a solid wall.
I can show where the checkpoint is as I fly past these flight recorders. I'll just aim at it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it turns out that we just found this out, if you do the alternate one where you hit the harder to hit checkpoint, and then when you come back to this area, the checkpoint through the wall that we did the first time, the one with the solid wall, is still there. So you can use that to get inside the ship about 10 to 15 seconds faster.
The checkpoint is just in there. Just quickly did a nice little aim at it. So yeah, it's very hard to clip into that. You basically have to clip through two walls, and you have to do an align clip that forces you down. And if you align too late, it can force you off to the left, and then you get stuck. Now there is a backup strat for that where you can clip from underneath, but it's really inconsistent. You're probably better off just restarting the checkpoint and trying again if you were going to do it. So if you were going for a world record run, if you mess that skip up, it's an instant reset.
Yeah, and then it's very inconsistent to do in the first place, like doing the trick.
For you, maybe.
So, well, even for you have trouble with the second one.
Yeah, I have trouble with the second. The align clip, yeah. Ryan has trouble actually getting through the first bit of clip.
The second one's not hard for me. It's the first one that's hard for me. But anyway, you grab the 3 pieces of the flight recorder, and then we need to head inside the ship because we need to find a crafting bench to build the ship part, and then so we can go to the planet. Wonder if when Dead Space 4 will happen. They're not working on it at the moment as far as I know. If they are, they've really kept it under wraps. A lot of the old devs and voice actors and stuff have all said that they want to do a Dead Space 4, but it's EA. EA has to give the go-ahead first, which is like...
And they're working on Star Wars, I think, Visceral.
Yeah, finish making your 18,000th Star Wars game, Visceral, and then maybe we'll let you make a Dead Space 4.
So now I'm going to try and kinesis the thing on top of the ship from far away. It's not too hard, but you just have to be at a certain height and a certain distance. Okay, I got it.
The problem with it is it's a really weird angle to be kinesising a rotation object. For those who have played the older Dead Space games and not 3, they added a new mechanic with the kinesis, which is rotation. So there are objects that need to be kinesis and then rotated.
Hey,
in order to
Warren's
do
here.
that,
Hey, Warren. Thanks for the look,
you
man.
kinesis the object and then just press the kinesis button again and it will start rotating the object. It's used a lot for doors and stuff.
What's that look for? This is going to work, right?
A window's coming up.
Wow, this is actually a really good run, dude. I actually still got a sub 43 ship without the Roanoke clip. It was like I think it was like a 4250.
Don't know how accurate the start was though, like when it started.
I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a pretty good time.
If I just want to get a sub 220, I know the estimate is sub 230, but you have to keep in mind if this game crashes, I have to reload the. No, actually, no, it was before I had to reload the chapter. So these canisters
Wait, where's it
control
gonna
you.
crash?
Okay, I got them right. I don't know. Just like you never know. Like this game isn't very crash heavy. If I pause the game and press invite friend, my game crashes because I have Origin game turned off, but that's the only thing that can crash. And I have actually done that in a run recently. I went up to checkpoint restart. I didn't press enough up inputs and I checkpoint restarted on invite friend and it crashed my game. So
That is why I use the mouse.
yeah, but it's like faster to use the arrow keys, dude. So this is basically an auto scroller. You can die on it though.
Yeah. So it's just a fly around, shoot the mines. An interesting thing that I found out recently. So a few weeks ago, I did a Dead Space like 1, 2, and 3 back-to-back speedrun. And when I got to Dead Space 3, it turns out I accidentally unbound the button for punching. And it turns out the shooting on this ship is not bound to shoot. It's bound to punch. So I had no idea what was going on because I couldn't shoot the mines. So I had to just try and dodge everything, and I died a few times in this section as a result.
How far did you get before you died? Because this is a long section. If you
I got probably past the first cutscene.
wait, does it take you all the way back to the beginning, or does it give you checkpoints?
No, there's checkpoints partway through.
Oh, okay. Because I've never died here. I actually don't know what happens if you die here. What happens?
What, you just die and then you
Yeah, but
reload
does
to
it
the
give you a
checkpoint.
cutscene, like a secret
No,
cutscene?
you just kind of explode, I think.
Is that it? Or can everyone
Yeah.
just fly into pieces? That would have been more interesting.
Yeah, Dead Space 1's really good. The problem with it, it's like all the mechanics of the game, it's good for a horror game, awful for a speedrun. Like, you can't move while reloading. If you get hit at all, you stop moving. And on top of that, the PC port for Dead Space 1 is really bad. So like, if you try to unlock the frame rate, because all the games are on the same engine, if you try to unlock the frame rate and do tricks like you do in Dead Space 1 and 2, Isaac starts like tripping over his feet and he can't move properly.
Well, you meant 2 and 3. You said 1 and 2.
Yeah. In Dead Space 1, if you unlock the frame rate, you start tripping over your feet and triggers in the game break. So like, if you start the game with high FPS, the first time you meet at Necromorph, just after you get the plasma cutter, that Necromorph won't spawn and the door will never open.
Like I've talked about this numerous times in my streams. Dead Space 1 for me, it just as a speedrun, it's just not good. I mean, when I first played the game, as I played like all 3 casually, Dead Space 1 was my favourite. But when I started speedrunning Dead Space 3, Dead Space 3 became my favourite because for me, it's not about the spookiness. It's all about the combat and like the movement in Dead Space 3. In terms of combat and stuff, is a lot better than the other games.
No,
I mean, Dead Space 2 is
combat
pretty
in
good.
2 is better.
You think it's better?
I reckon the combat, in terms of the speedruns, the combat in 2 is like the main focus of that game, and it's got a lot better combat than 3. But 3 has like all the cool skips and tech.
Also, by the way, as did you mention about how like you can scale walls? Did you mention
No,
that yet?
because it hasn't come up yet.
Okay. I was just gonna say that this game's pretty open in terms of like Dead Space 1 and 2. You're pretty much on a ship, so being able to scale walls in those games is not very useful.
In
but
Dead Space 3, they introduced... Well, Dead Space 3 has a lot of open outside areas which are easy to get out of bounds, and they introduced crouch, which lets you, like, crouch into walls and clip out of bounds.
Yeah. That's why there's not, like, this one skip in Dead Space 3, Dead Space 1, which isn't really a skip. You just skip a cutscene by kinesis in a thing from really far away, and then Dead Space 2 has one big skip, which saves, like, 2 minutes.
Two big skips.
What's the other big skip?
Remember, there's the Chapter 2 drop, and then there's the Chapter 4 skip that got
I
found
thought
a
that
few
Chapter
weeks
2
ago.
drop only saves, like, 40
It takes like
seconds.
a minute and a half.
Does it? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it only saved, like, 40 seconds. So, yeah. This game, put this into perspective. Dead Space 2 probably skips around 7 minutes of gameplay with skips. Dead Space 1 is about...
Oh no, Matt. Without glitches, Dead Space 2 is about 2.5 hours as a speedrun. Dead Space 1 is about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And Dead Space 3 is 3.5 hours.
Yeah, so basically...
With skips, Dead Space 3 is 2 hours.
Yeah, so the skips in Dead Space 3 save about over an hour of gameplay. Whereas in the others, it doesn't
It's
save
a lot of
too much time.
cutscenes you skip.
All them cutscenes do. So
yeah,
now
so
we're on
we
the
crash
planet.
landed on the planet. And now Isaac's suit is broken. Well, broken in the lightest sense of the word. So you'll see he has gouges all in his body. Your health bar is crooked for this section, and you have no helmet. And this introduces a new mechanic. In this section, you'll have a temperature gauge, and if it goes too low, Isaac dies of hypothermia. You can increase it by going into rooms that have heating, so powered rooms, and also going near fires.
Yeah, so usually, as I mentioned earlier, this section you'd be staggering and walking really slow, but if we just aim the foam finger, it's a bit faster.
Use the fires. Stay near the fires.
But he's still got that foam finger. Yeah.
Ellie.
It becomes pretty interesting, because we will be using... So this is actually a different suit. This is like the broken EVA suit, and if you switch suits before you get to this point in the game, you don't actually get a real broken suit like this.
This is like a unique suit, basically.
Yeah, it's a unique suit. We're going to use this suit for much more than the game's supposed to let you. We used to use this for the entire rest of the game, but
Yeah, Ryan ruined that.
later on, it will be switched.
Are you there?
Yeah, so we used to finish the game in its entirety with this suit on, but there's a quit
Which
out later
is
in the run.
always
which gets
funny,
rid of it.
because he's
So-
like covered in blood and stuff in all the cutscenes.
So it sets us back
Did
to
you
our
get foam
normal
finger
suit.
collections? Did you get foam finger collections? No, you get foam finger by beating the game in classic difficulty.
So, damn, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. So with this suit, the thing is, when the game thinks we're not supposed to have the suit on when we do, if we quit out to the main menu and load it back, it gives us the suit we're supposed to have. And Ryan here found a trick ladder in the run where we have to do that, so we lose the broken suit, but we used to finish the whole game without it. And the funny thing is that trick only saves like 30 seconds, so...
So Isaac found a body here, thought it was Ellie, found out it was one of the other crew members, and he actually just doesn't care about any other crew member except Ellie, so he just leaves him there.
Yeah, but it's Rosen, dude. Who cares about Rosen? It's a bit of a dick, if you ask me.
Yeah, but
Here we are with the Snow
still.
Beast, the bane of my existence.
the boss, it's one of the bosses of this game. He harasses you a lot throughout the planet area, and you have 3 fights with him over the course of a casual playthrough.
We only do 2.
Ellie. Come in.
So, coming up here is a little skip that actually me and Greg found. If you didn't know who Greg is, he's the Thronus. Me and him are the ones who run co-op. And we found it on co-op. Basically, in this next room, there's supposed to be a cutscene where that snow beast you just saw kind of jumps on top of the roof and kind of shakes the building around. But because on co-op, this door that you enter doesn't close until the co-op partner comes in. We found out that you can do it on solo too. If you just turn around, open the door, the one you came through, and then turn the power on, it doesn't trigger the cutscene, and then you can just open this door and leave. It's how much does that save? Like 15, 20 seconds, right?
Something like that. By the way, someone asked in chat, what is the other weapon you have?
I just have a timed mine to kill enemies. The grenade launcher I don't use. I had it there because I thought, because I have safety guard on this gun, which if you don't know what that is, means that I don't take explosive damage from my own gun. And there's a skip later on, which it is a bit faster to use the grenade launcher to blow myself up. But because I have safety guard and I can't use that, but luckily enough, you can still do that skip a different way. It's only like a second faster using the grenade. But yeah, so I have it like that for the timed mine for a hack panel that I did and some other things. But you don't really use that weapon that much in the run. It's mostly just a thumb finger.
It's depending on basically the weapons you take in a New Game Plus run are completely up to you. So while he takes that, I use the foam finger as well as 2 other weapons, and these weapons are used to speed up different sections of the game. So it's like, one will have splash damage, because one of the big problems with the foam finger is it doesn't have splash damage, and there are a few sections where you really need splash damage and stuff like that.
So we're gonna do suit repair skip, where we're just gonna skip not getting the new suit. So we're just gonna
this chapter here is where you're supposed to like go in and do a bunch of stuff to get a new suit that's not broken. So right here, so as I mentioned at the very start of the run, the physics of the game are very broken when you have high frame rate. So you can kind of just walk into walls and ascend the wall.
Not everywhere.
And so not everywhere. Different walls have different frame rate requirements, and some walls can't be climbed at all. And so he's just going to climb the wall here to get out of bounds, and then he's going to get around a locked door that stops you from progressing without a repaired suit. Funnily enough, this version of the glitch does not work on console, but there is a version that does, and it's really hard because it involves 400 FPS. No, not necessarily. A lot of the tricks you can get by with almost every trick.
You can do that, what I just did. You can do suit repair on 60. It's just the higher the FPS, the faster you go up the wall.
Yeah. And as I was saying, there is a version of that skip, which is the old suit repair, which is the console version, where you go out of bounds much earlier in the level, but then you have to run through a later level without the level being loaded, and the whole screen is just pure white because of the snow, and you can't see anything, and you have to try and run the right way and not fall out of bounds. And it was awful.
Warren, the game is locked at 30, but that's only with VSync on. If you want to run the game on capped, you just turn off VSync.
Yeah, the VSync in this game doesn't work. So if you just turn VSync off, it unlocks the frame rate. If you turn it on, it locks the frame rate to 30.
Yeah, we're just doing some button mashing here. So what the skip that I just did basically skips repairing the suit. I don't know how much time it actually saves. How much does it save?
It saves about 5-6 minutes. Right. The suit chapter takes 8 minutes, but you've still got to do like run over to the thing and stuff. The old suit repair skip only saved 4 minutes, and this one saves like a minute or 2 above that.
And that one was horrible. No, I will never try and do that in my life.
No, all it says is temperature. It doesn't say anything about body temp. Oh, actually, I think it does though. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Now that we've passed the suit repair checkpoint, the game has actually been like, yo, your helmet, it was fine all along. We'll put it back on for you. And so we've still got the broken suit. He's still got all the gashes in his body. His health bar is still crooked. And you'll see in cutscenes where he takes his helmet off, his face is still covered in snow and blood.
So we're going to be doing the first Snow Beast fight. It becomes a lot easier with the foam finger. Doing the Snow Beast fight on New Game is horrible.
It's not that bad.
Dude, it's why I didn't want to run New Game anymore. Did you not watch my run?
Well, you got a point there, Suey.
So we're just going to wait for a little bit. If you stasis him too soon, the tentacles on his back won't come out fast enough and you can miss them. So I'm just going to wait a second and then stasis him, and it's just basically you shoot the tentacles twice and then that's it. So
You wanna make sure you stasis him, because as soon as you shoot one of his back tentacles, he'll start an animation where he pulls them into his body and then attacks you. But you want to, if you stasis him, you can take out all three before that animation. Yeah, exactly. Like Dark Souls 1, this game starts behaving. All three Dead Space games start behaving in unexpected ways when you go above 30 FPS. The Alphabet Awakening isn't being ran at the end of this. No, it's not. Matt, I don't think you know Awakened speedrun, do you?
I mean, no,
You don't know.
I'm not good at it. Like, I have an idea, but for the one trick that you do in the run, I don't know where the checkpoint is anymore.
The Awakened speedrun is 10 minutes long, and it is absolutely awful because it's like 8 minutes doing the first chapter of like cutscenes and garbage, and then you get to the second chapter and there's a skip that takes you from the second chapter to the end of the game, and that trick is the hardest trick in the game done twice, and it's really hard to do.
And I don't know where I would try it, but I don't know where the checkpoint is anymore. I don't remember. So on this elevator ride down, we'll get a progress save in. We're going to checkpoint restart that, and then he puts us at the bottom of the elevator. I don't know, I think this thing saves like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, it saves like 5 seconds.
So there's the progress save, and we just wait for it to come up. It puts us down here. Now I've noticed I have a lot faster loads than Ryan. I don't know why. Like mine are like, when I checkpoint restart, they're pretty much instant, and then his is like...
Because my game's on an SSD.
Mine isn't actually. Wait, is it? Did I put it? I only installed it. I don't know if I put it back on an SSD or not.
But yeah, a lot of people say that the outside sections of Dead Space 3 remind them of Lost Planet.
Good to see you made it, Isaac. Yeah, maybe we should give you two some time.
Yeah, more cutscenes.
Anyway, we meet up with the group, and Ellie's very glad that you're alive. But Norton, her new boyfriend, does not like that. See, there's some strain on the relationship.
1v1 me, bro.
Some really compelling stuff going on here. And as you can see, Isaac's face has still got the gouges in the snow because he has the broken suit.
Yeah. He looks a bit chilly. He may not seem chilly, but he is pretty chilly. And he looks like he's high on drugs as well because of his eyes.
As soon as you get past the area that it's like, that you're supposed to, it's like, oh, you're supposed to have fixed your suit by this point, and then you get past that area. The game's like, oh, you got past this area, you must have fixed your suit, so we're not going to keep your suit as broken, which is why we don't have the temperature gauge anymore.
So this chapter has one of the highest FPS required tricks on solo. We're not sure how much it requires because I haven't been able to do it at like 250. Ryan says it can be done at that. I don't know.
The lowest I'm pretty sure I've done it on is 200, but even then that was like sketchy.
But it's not till the end of the chapter, so I won't. I'll mention it then.
But anyway, so Danik has somehow followed us to this planet, and so now he's set off his men. So now we have some more Unitologist soldiers, which we haven't seen since Chapter 1. And mostly they're not a threat. There are 3 kinds of Unitologist soldiers. There's the ones with machine guns, who are not a threat at all. They're only a nuisance because they slow you down a little bit if they shoot you. There's ones with shotguns, which if they hit you, Isaac completely stops moving for like a second or two, which is really annoying. and there's rocket launcher ones which just like the shotgun guys will stop you completely. Somehow managed to get past the whole minefield. Well, we blew up all the mines. We crashed into them all already. At least that's what I'm assuming. But this area, this section is just a lot of running. It's basically just running in a straight line. Most of the unitologists are not a problem, because most of them are machine gun guys. And even then, necromorphs show up, and the unitologists and the necromorphs will fight each other.
There's a few of them I shoot that are...
Yeah, there's a few, like the ones in this corridor, which have shotguns. Well,
so right here, I think this is the room. An enemy will spawn from the roof. I have to kill him. I don't know why, and I don't think Ryan here does, but for some reason, I don't know if it's because of my really high FPS or what. There's a few areas where I have to kill the enemies, or I can't open the door. So this door, I wouldn't be able to open if I didn't kill that enemy.
Different people have different experiences. It might actually be something to do with tied with low times.
Yeah, because the enemy does spawn pretty fast for me.
Yeah.
No.
Some people have to kill the enemy. It's not a big deal.
It never happened on my laptop. That's
yeah,
why I mean.
it's just a weird thing that happens.
So I killed that enemy so he doesn't shoot me. Sometimes
So this is this introduction to a new enemy type, which is just a little head thing that can take over dead bodies and reanimate them. For whatever reason, they decided to get rid of the Infector type enemy in Dead Space 3. I don't know why exactly. The Infector type was actually a really nicely designed enemy. He would run around and infect bodies.
So after I've done this hack panel, I'm going to be doing the highest FPS required trick in the run. You can't really fail it. There's a sense that if I time my out of bounds wrong, I can fall out of bounds and die, but it's not that big of a deal. If I die, it doesn't lose that much time. So, as Ryan said, this requires like 200 FPS. I couldn't do it at 250, but it's one of those things, it depends. So we're just going to boost up this wall. And this skip only saves around 30 seconds, so if you haven't got like a good enough computer to do it, it's not that big of a deal. So we're just going to crouch here. Boost up.
Yes,
aim.
Karuto. The weapon is the foam finger, and when shooting it, Isaac says bang bang. And the alternate fire is he says pew pew instead.
We aim at a specific spot. I uncrouch and it clips me out of bounds. That's the hard part. Then we just crouch clip up through that wall, come up here, get ourselves in a specific spot. Yeah. I hold sprint.
The hard part about this trick, I'll let you finish the trick first.
Oh, I did it. So yeah, you just hold sprint there, clip back in bounds, and then get over the drill. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, the interesting thing is if you get inside the drill like he did without turning the power on, the drill doesn't have collision, you can just run through it. The reason the trick is so hard is because you're doing a boost into the wall, and then you're trying to do a clip with a crouch clip. So you crouch and you're up in the air. So what you're trying to do is trying to crouch, clip upwards and out of bounds, but there's nothing underneath your feet. So if your FPS is too low, your feet will just come out down instead of your head going up through the wall.
So I'm just going to toggle my inventory here. You don't really have to do this. It's just one of those things. What did that just come up and say to me? What was that? Can you read what that said? It said something about co-op.
You probably pressed R to share an item to your co-op partner, and then it's like that can only be done in co-op.
Oh, maybe I did, yeah. Hang on, I'm just watching it back now. What did it say? Yeah, we just wait here for the door to open.
Yeah, you've got to wait for a bunch of dialogue here, so he's got time to...
Yeah, it said item sharing is only on co-op, yes, so I must have pressed R. So now we're going to do another skip. This is the one skip I do in the run with the controller, and the only thing I do with the controller is the setup. But yeah, this is a really big skip. It skips chapter 11 and 12, right?
I think that's what it is, yeah. It saves about 10-15 minutes in speedrun, not against casual. It saves like hours against casual.
So good on co-op.
This is called the Nexus skip. So, what this area is this giant necromorph here called the Nexus. You're supposed to de-Thor it, and then you've got to create a gun that's like a sensor, so you can shoot. You can go into its stomach and shoot it a bit, so you can track where the marker signal is. but you can skip all of that in its entirety, and it's pretty nice. And this trick has actually gone through a few different iterations. The one we're doing now is currently the fastest for single player. In co-op, you can just kind of just go through a wall and
Yeah, you just basically click
hit
through
the
the door when
checkpoint.
you hit the checkpoint on the other side. So I'm going to run out
in
to
co-op.
hit the checkpoint.
I just explain this.
I'm going to aim here. I run, press the thing at the same time and crouch at a specific point. I didn't get it. If I time the crouch right, I should get clipped inside the elevator door. Because we need to be able to call the elevator back up when it's at the bottom. Okay, so there, I got it. So I need to be clipped halfway in so I can call the elevator back up and drop down.
Yeah.
So
you
basically,
can only call the elevator from outside the elevator shaft, but you can only drop in if you're on the inside. So we clip halfway in each, so we have the best of both worlds, and we can call the elevator back up and then drop down on top of it. So what Matt's going to do here is once it comes down to the bottom, he's going to call the elevator back up, wait 12 seconds, well, wait a 12 count, it's not that accurate, and then drop on top of the elevator in order to basically get out of bounds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we drop onto the top of the elevator. That keeps the bottom area loaded, but it deloads this area at the top, so we can just drop down.
Yeah. We have to drop down early enough that the bottom level is loaded in, but not so early that the top level has time to reload.
Yeah, also here, if you drop off this elevator too fast, it just teleports you back on, so we have to wait for these doors to open, and then we can run off. So we run off here, we land down on the roof, come over here, we crouch onto this door, come over here, hit the checkpoint, and that's Nexus skin. So that skips going inside the big monster, shooting the probes, the things, and now we're in...
Just puts you on the other side of the door.
Basically, just right at the start of chapter 13 now, just before chapter 13.
You wouldn't believe the trouble you saved me.
This isn't co-op, this is solo.
Now this is Danix. Danix caught us. He's like revealing his triumphant plan. And he reveals that Ellie's new boyfriend has actually betrayed everyone and told the unitologists where we were so they could track us to this planet and catch us. Now, he did it hoping that he would be saved while they just kill Isaac. But Danix's like, no, I'm gonna kill all of you.
You've got me.
And
Let the others go.
Oh,
then a
also,
brawl ensues.
you can skip this cutscene on co-op. Basically, for some reason, I don't like. Ryan said it's to do with like the sync of the co-op partner and
Desync between the two players.
Yeah, but it seems more consistent now than it was before. I don't know why, but basically, what happens is when you open the door, Danny's just standing there with his lovely ponytail doing nothing. The other co-op partner runs into the cutscene. The other cutscene after this, what it will do is it will start that cutscene. And then you wait for a bit until you can move, and then you restart the checkpoint, and it skips this cutscene and just puts you straight into the boss fight that's coming up.
Yeah.
Why
Why does Austin Powers want to kill Isaac again? He wants to kill Isaac because he's the head of the unitologists, and the unitologists want to turn everyone into necromorphs because they believe it's the next stage in life cycle, and it will take them all to the afterlife or something.
Basically, they're loonies, like Looney Bin here.
And because Isaac has already got a track record of destroying 2 markers and stopping 2 necromorph infections, they're like, we can't have this guy around. He is the #1 largest threat to us taking over and making everyone necromorphs. So they're hunting him down and trying to kill him.
Yeah, so now this is another Nexus.
I think it might actually be the same one.
Is it the same one?
Because it does burst out of the facility, and you do defloor it at the start of that other chapter. I'm not sure if it's the same one or a different one, but...
So,
yeah.
This boss is pretty easy on. It's pretty easy on new game, to be honest. So, you shoot the other thing with the front finger. then shoot these yellow things on the side. There's like 3 phases, and on the third and last phase, I'm going to run close to him to skip getting dragged along the floor. It starts the cutscene straight away. If you don't know about that, Ryan, which you said you don't, you can actually see.
No, I do now.
Well, you said
I
it
tried
didn't
that.
work.
I did it in my latest PB.
Oh, did you? So now we just run up to the front and do the rest. So coming up next is a chapter that myself and my co-op partner runner Greg do not like. Ryan doesn't really mind, but it's
No one likes this chapter. Do you think I like this chapter, man?
Dude, you say it's easy.
I say it's easy, I don't say I like it.
Yeah, we just shoot that and then it triggers the cutscene where we get sucked inside. So I'm going to do a different strat here to Ryan. Ryan would shoot grenade launcher shots at these things to do it faster.
Use a rocket launcher, splash damage in order to kill each of these guys in one shot each.
But I just use the foam finger. It's a bit slow. It's like maybe like 2-3 seconds slower, depending on how fast you do it and if you mess up doing the grenade launcher way, because you can mess it up if one of the things don't. I think you can leave one of them alive, can't you? And then it'll still give you the cutscene, I'm pretty sure.
No, what happens is when you shoot the last one, it doesn't do the animation for it.
So we're just gonna shoot these yellow things that come out of these as fast as I can. It's a lot you can do it at one cycle on co-op with the foam finger. Oh, that was slow. I didn't even do that.
I have no idea. Sorry, chat. I have no idea what that noise is or whose mic is causing it.
But what is it?
There's a weird noise. That's happened twice. It's just a really loud pitch, like click. Really high pitched click.
I can't hear anything. It's not me. I don't know. I can't hear the actual stream. Can you hear the stream? What does the noise sound like?
Just a click.
I was going to say it could be me mashing mouse, but it's not. So, this is a very iconic cutscene because it takes advantage of very high FPS, which makes a very funny outcome.
So this is like, confronting Norton about his betrayal. And it's like, yeah, you betrayed us. You're an asshole. Why would you do this to us?
I don't know then, guys. So
Yeah.
now Norton's dead. Rip Norton, even though he's a bit of a dick.
Fuck. Come on. He won't stay dead forever, not around here.
So, after this cutscene, as I'm about to regain control, watch the bottom right of the...
No, the mid. Just the entire right side of the screen.
Yeah, just watch the right side of the screen, basically. So, here's our friend Norton. He's lying on the floor. He's pretty dead. He's pretty dead. But trust me, he's pretty dead. But now he's gone to space. So what happens is, his body is a little bit clipped in the ground, and when the game enables, I don't know what you'd call it. Like when the game starts again after the cutscene, the game realizes he's clipped in the floor a little bit, and because the FPS is so high, it just flings him up into the air.
Sometimes he comes back down, but a lot of the time he'll just fly out of the map and get despawned.
I was gonna turn around so I could see if you could see him, but slow, man.
I had no choice. Norton betrayed us, Ellie. He was ready to
So this chapter is mostly just running around through the mountains with Ellie complaining that it's like, oh, you killed my boyfriend. It's like, yo, but he brought the unitologist here to kill us. Yeah, she's like, no, but you still killed my boyfriend.
Yeah, so this is Cliffs. It's on co-op it's a lot more tedious because there's something that can happen in one of the climbs. But yeah, so it's pretty long, it's pretty boring, and you can lose time on it if you suck. So
Yeah.
just gonna do a lot of these rappel sections. It's basically what cliffs is, because you're going up the cliff to the top of the cliff to get to labs, and this is.
There are a lot of sections where you can get like pretty much you can get out of bounds in every part of this cliffs. The problem is there is no way you can get up high enough to make it even relevant compared to just climbing it normally.
So we shoot these rocks with the foam finger to move them out of the way so they don't hit us. So, if you haven't realised, something can happen when you're doing these climbs where Isaac will stagger and he will fall backwards, and to avoid that you just basically tap W or up on the analog stick to...
Alternatively, you can hold W and tap a side key.
Yeah, to go at like an angle to change your direction. And it also is a little bit faster to move this way too, so depending on how good you are at doing it, because you have to do it at a pretty good rhythm for it to be faster.
I can use the left climb there.
I've always gone to the left. There's only
I use the right one,
the only one I go to the right now is the final climb. Wait, do I even go to the... Yeah. No, do I? Oh, I don't remember.
No, you want to go to on the final climb, you go to the right, because otherwise you just got to go rappel right straight away.
Yeah. There was something else about it, but yeah, I don't remember. So, right here, there's a trigger where you walk slowly, but if with high FPS, if we just crouch into it...
You don't need high FPS.
Don't you?
No, what happens is the game... There's a trigger here for like, oh, you're in a blizzard. Switch the character's game state from standing to standing but slowed. However, if you're crouching, the game gets confused. It's like, you're not standing, and it tries to puts you standing, but then it's like, okay, my action's done, and it doesn't actually switch your character's state to slowed.
Well, I thought it was a high FPS thing.
No.
Is it the same with the one in that station?
Yeah, it's the same as the one in Off Station. You crouch and it's like, oh, I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, did I just heal?
It doesn't matter.
Didn't even press my Q key. So, there's an enemy here that pops up. I'm going to shoot him because he gets in my way, and there's two enemies here. I shoot both of them. I don't think Ryan here shoots any.
You don't need to shoot them. The problem is those two enemies are leapers, and leapers are one of the enemy types that is most prone to using grab attacks. And if you get grabbed, Matt here hasn't gotten grabbed in this run yet, but if you get grabbed, it starts a quick time event that can take like up to 15 to 20 seconds to break out of.
Right, here we go.
So you really
RNG
don't want to
rocks.
get grabbed.
I got fucked by RNG rocks. So those rocks there are very RNG, and they can fall and hit you, and they knock you backwards. Sometimes they can be a bit too, like they can be more to the right, so if they fall they won't hit you, but I think it all depends on where you are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it depends where you are.
But you can't shoot them with the foam finger to knock them out of the way. You can only shoot the really big rocks.
We drove it off.
Oh, thank God.
Look, about Robert. I just don't understand why he would try to kill you.
So we're coming up to the last climb of cliffs. It's not that bad, but on co-op,
It can troll you pretty hard, especially if you don't have much stasis with you.
That's why you always top up on, even though I don't really ever use. I always have at least. I never actually like lose my status packs every run. I don't know why. So yeah. So we have to stasis a lot of these big ice blocks to stop them from hitting us. I'm gonna go all the way to the top here and just walk.
Rock climbing.
I'm just gonna walk off to the left so it forces me over to the left. Sometimes if you try and jump across there, it just won't work, and I don't take the risk. I'd rather just lose the second of just getting the game to knock me. So this rock right here can fall. It never will hit you. Okay, we're good. So that jump across that I just did there can sometimes troll you. Sometimes when you do
Yeah,
that jump.
the
It just
worst
won't
thing that
work.
can happen is you get up here to where the swinging the swinging object is. You try to do the jump and it just breaks it and puts you back over across. And at that point, you can't aim far enough to the side to re-stasis the thing. So the stasis runs out and it hits you.
No! Don't hit me. Oh, I accidentally, when I was turning the ladder, I accidentally left clicked and it let go of the ladder, and I thought the spitter behind. Well, what is it? A spitter or puke are the ones that slow you down?
Puka.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna puke me. So here we go, guys, with the first puzzle of the run. So good.
The pukas are a pretty beefy enemy. How tanky they are doesn't matter when we have the foam finger though. Who have a ranged attack that if they hit you, it slows you down for like 10-15 seconds. You have slow movement. In Dead Space 2, taking damage or healing will remove the slow, which is really nice for the speedrun. However, they decided to remove that feature in Dead Space 3. So if you get hit by a puka, pretty much the only real option you have for movement that's actually not completely ridiculously slow is to just spam rolls until it's gone.
The codex was made from her research.
Where will we find it?
In the facility at the top of this mountain.
Great. See?
Do you know, this may sound silly, but I actually think I'm ahead of world record at this point. Even without doing Roanoke, I don't know. I think I saved a lot of time on cliffs. I told you I could save like 50 seconds on cliffs because it was terrible. I don't know, though. It's hard to tell without my
I'll
splits.
check.
See, that wasn't so bad. Not bad. I was crying the whole way.
And if I can get, well, I won't mention it because I'm just ruining the. Well, but, yeah, I'll mention it when I get there. Yeah, more cutscenes. This is where my favourite character of the game, Santos, as I call her. Her name is Santos, but I call her Santos. Where she dies. Rip her. But yeah, to be honest, I would really like to give it a shout out to Ryan for like helping me out learning this game in the first place. It was a lot of the tricks I didn't know about the FPS and stuff, and it was an awkward situation to be able to learn some of the stuff.
You didn't even get to talk about how stupid Santos is.
Yeah, I know. She just could have jumped off. She's moaning.
Yeah, so Santos,
yeah,
the entire cliff section, Santos is like, I hate heights. I don't want to be here. Can we get out of here, please? And then you finally get to the top of the winch. She's complaining about how she's scared of heights and how she wants to get off the winch, but stays on the winch long enough to get killed.
Oh.
While everyone else got off.
Away.
Isaac was pulling the whole.
Yeah, so here is the second Snow Beast fight. When we did the Nexus skip, we skipped the actual second Snow Beast fight. But basically, this is the third and final one. So it can be a pain in the ass, to be quite honest. It depends. I picked up the body. It depends what he does. If he charges to get into the laser. Okay, he did charge me. Come closer. Just gonna shoot these things and hope he'll charge. Charge me, come on.
Remember, if you shoot all three, he'll do it.
Yeah, I shot him, yeah. Oh, I got hit. So he's been sucked into the lasers. I'll just come over here and just mash this as fast as I can. It's very hard to mash this fast because I'm using my left hand and I'm not left-handed. And I have to mash it super fast to get it done really fast.
You can move during this section, during this cutscene. However, if you move too far, the kinesis breaks and then it just ruins it all.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. It's a bit fast if you can move a bit further back. You'll be closer to the winch where you leave, but I've never done it. Doesn't save much time. And yeah, that was that Snow Beast now dead. Rip that guy. So now we have, when we get to the top of this cliff, we have the infamous Rosetta Labs.
It's not really infamous. It's only infamous in the speedrunning community of this game.
Basically, it's a really long section where there's a checkpoint staring you at the face to skip the whole thing. And co-op can skip labs by using that checkpoint. but solo can't. So that's one of the reasons why solo, I mean, co-op is a lot faster than
There's not much happening here, so I'll use this chance to explain co-op clipping. So essentially, in co-op, if you have a player with high frame rate, you can essentially run into each other, and if you both like uncrouch, is it?
Oh, you have to. The player who's clipping has to walk into the other player while crouched, and then they have to.
Yeah, and then he
uncrouch.
uncrouches. Essentially, you use the collision with the other player. You go inside them, and then it will push you, and you can actually use this other player as an object to clip you through walls. And
but
the big
it has
draw
a lot of
to the co-op.
It has a lot of what's it called? Requirements. Like you need good connection with the player.
Really high frame rate requirements and good ping with the other player. But the big draw to this is that it allows you to get out of bounds in a certain area of Rosetta Labs, which single player cannot do, and it allows you to skip Rosetta Labs. Would you like to spear in Dead Space 1? Any tips here? Sure. Buy a line gun as soon as you can, and if you watch a run, there's a skip in Chapter 12. But apart from that, it's just all
gameplay.
It's just all as normal. You can pretty much just use the locator to find out where you need to go. But yeah, you want to buy a line gun. Either you want to buy the line gun or the line gun usually. At the very start of Chapter 2, when the woman is like crying about something, and then before she gives you kinesis, because you gotta wait for her. So you go there into the shop there and buy a line gun, and the line gun will just save you throughout the entire run, and it's required for the skip at the end.
So, Rosetta Labs is probably it used to be one of the worst parts of the game in terms of the run for one room, which is now skipped, and that's the room that we skipped by losing the broken suit, which we mentioned earlier. Rosetta Labs.
Matt, you're like a minute.
What?
You're like a minute behind your record.
Am I?
Yeah.
Alright. I think that's like because there was wait, what did I do in my run?
You didn't do the
Bow note clip, but that was it. Oh, there was like just stuff. Well, I didn't get Nexus clip on the elevator straight away either, so.
Yeah, and just some slow stuff. Just a couple little time losses.
So, yeah, Rosetta Labs is hard.
Accidentally close switch chat.
Because there's a lot of areas that can just.
There's a lot of enemies, and a lot of enemies that are very prone to using grab attacks, and every time you get grabbed, you lose like 20 seconds.
So is this the first puzzle that we do?
This is the first hack panel we can do.
Yes, this is the first hack panel in Chapter 14. Because there was one earlier, but we skip it, so. Yeah. So now we're going to go get the key card. I'm going to kill as many of these enemies as I can so they're not in my way when I come back down. So we're just going to go get the key card. It's pretty slow.
This section's just a big like hub, and it's like, okay, you got to go to all these areas and get parts, and it's routed out pretty well. But like I said, in co-op you can just skip this entire area, which is why co-op can potentially get a sub 2 hour run, whereas single players get it was like 2:16, 2:15.
So here's Carver, the lovely man. I'm gonna now try and balance a bottle of bleach on his head, because I have nothing else to do. I'm gonna place it right there. I will accomplish it. I will get that bottle of bleach or whatever to balance on his head, and it will be this run.
It's a pretty common thing that we do in Dead Space speedruns of trying to balance things on NPC's head. The most notable one is in Dead Space 2. There's a section where Nicole's talking to you, and we try to stick a chair that says timeout on it onto her head. You can actually balance it on that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, should we just get these ice block things and just put them in these? This is what this chapter's all about. It's just doing a load of those.
So yeah, you've got to get all the parts of Rosetta in order to put her back together, because they cut her up.
Oh, I had it! No! I had it and I pressed it again. I swear that was balanced.
So yeah, we got to sit in this room until Ellie decides to give us the key that lets us get to the rest of the facility.
Most of the doors were locked down from what I can see.
Yeah, well, you're in luck. Look what I found. A security pass. You want to give it a
You know I'm gonna start doing that in runs now.
Doing what?
Trying to balance that bottle of bleach on Carver's head, and my
have to.
superior balancing technique will get it on his head.
It just looks like when he moves his head, it looks like it falls off. Even though the collision box looks like it's set to.
Yeah, no. His collision box does move. Every character that does that has their collision box move when they move their heads.
Wow.
It's pretty easy to deal with it in Dead Space 2 because like the chair is really, it just sits on a head so well.
Oh wait, do I even remember the route that you take when you don't? Oh.
You go and turn the gas off, and you go up the elevator and grab the key card, reload.
Yeah, because this
do the
strat's
rest of the
relatively new, and I haven't done a run in a few days. Even though I mainly should have, but I burnt myself out on the game after I.
You practice like tricks and stuff. You just haven't done like this route.
Yeah, I haven't done the actual run.
Yeah, so yeah, just go up the elevator first instead of grabbing that other part. Just when you come back to this area, make sure remember you got to go left and grab that part.
Yeah. So there's an elevator clips after I've turned on this power. In my world record run, I did not get the first one, and it saved like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
I actually
so
got the second one that doesn't really save that much time, which is what's funny.
Yeah. So these, what he's talking about are there are these gas. What he's doing now is he's setting up the gas to kill off all the gunk on all the walls so we can open the doors.
Oh wow, dude! I didn't kill one of the things. What the? I shot it.
That sucks, dude. But yeah, as I was saying, so he's setting up the gas, and then you go into this little quarantine room, turn the gas on, and the door will shut, and then the gas will kill off everything. However, the door shuts from the top, and the door comes down, so you can actually crouch under the door as it's closing,
Let me see if I
and
can get
avoid
it.
having to sit in that room.
Yeah. So, why is this enemy spawned already? Yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can get it. So basically, we just come here. We crouch, get as close as we can, kind of aim this way, press it. I didn't get it. See, this is the problem with this one. I always hit this corner. So I lost like 20 seconds of potential time save there, but it's not that big of a deal. So I was a bit too close to the wall when I.
Yeah, you were a bit too close to both the wall and the panel there. It's the gas that eats your face. Unfortunately, that line is not said in single player. Carho refers to it as the gas that eats your face, and it's actually pretty funny because if you clip out, you'll see that the gas does not actually hurt you, and the gas is neither does the gas fill the room. They actually just put an orange box around the quarantine room, and it looks really funny.
So yeah, we'll go into the kids' room. It's infamous for like having loads and loads and loads and loads of kids that just are very prone to grabbing you.
They're the kid enemy, but there's a different explanation for them in this game. But what the room is referring to is there's a panel, there's a puzzle in the center of the room, and there's a lot of the pack enemy, and they just destroy you in that room, and you always lose heaps of time. Fortunately, very recently, we found out that if you just go forward and grab, there's a key for an optional mission, and then if you quit out and load the optional mission, it will put you after the kids' room and having given you already the parts in that room.
And then we lose the broken suit, as you can see, which is the sad
and you lose
part
the
about
broken
this.
suit, unfortunately. But this saves like 30-40 seconds.
Well, let me see if I can get this quarantine clip. I'll try and actually get this one, like I'll take my time. Yes. Wait, what? I didn't turn the switch. So. Yeah, so that's what I was supposed to do the first time. I was a bit too close to the wall, but yeah, so it just skips waiting in there. But that one barely saves any time because it's very short. It's like you have to stay in there for like 5 seconds. Whereas the other one was like a good 20
the other
seconds.
one's a lot longer.
So in this room is another example of me not being able to open the door. I kill these enemies, I still can't open the door. I have to checkpoint restart. So there's a checkpoint
I think it has
right
to
here.
do with you killing the enemies.
Yeah, but I've tried. I've killed them. It still doesn't like the enemies that are there.
No. I don't kill any enemies in that room.
Oh. I'll give that a go then. I'll try not killing any, and then see if it.
I think I kill that one guy that's in front of the panel receptor, but that's it. I just stasis the rest. So he's going back towards the main facility, and when he goes to the main facility, he needs to take a left and grab the part. So because of this new trick, the chapter load the load to the optional mission will only give you the part from the kids' room. So we have to skip an earlier part and come back and get it later, which doesn't lose you that much time because the overall trick saves like 30-40 seconds. But he does have to take a bit of a detour to grab that part.
Yeah, but that little kid's room, to skip that, even if it was like 5 seconds faster, is totally worth it, because that room is just... Watch one of the older ones, you'll see what I mean.
There's like 30 or 40 enemies, all who are grab prone, and you have to do this like kinesis puzzle in the middle of the room, and if they hit you, it stops you from doing it. And yeah, it's pretty awful. Them fuckers move fast. Yes, there's twitches, new enemy type.
What? Oh yeah, pick up the bleach bottle. That's what I wanted.
Completely inconsequential. They don't do anything in the speedrun, but in casual playthroughs they're very fast and can really hurt you. In new game runs also they can do a lot of damage because they're so quick.
So now we're gonna go to the laser room, and if I do some bad movement, I might die.
Yeah. So this is also the introduction to another enemy type. This isn't where the enemy type is introduced normally, but because we skipped every other instance of them appearing. These are the Stalkers. They first appeared in Dead Space 2, and they basically look like raptors. And they'll hide behind cover, and they'll use group flanking tactics to attack you. They are really annoying for speedrunners, because it's like, hey, you locked in a room with a bunch of them. Oh, wow, they're hiding from me. Or like, one of the big ones in Dead Space 2 is, oh, we have to open this panel, but there's a bunch of these guys in this room. I'm gonna try and open the panel and hope they don't kill me.
Yeah. So, the laser room, ever since I started using keyboard and mouse, I realized it's so much better on keyboard and mouse. You can do it a lot faster. Just for being able to turn around and move it. So basically, there's these lasers can move this block of concrete, whatever, in front of them.
Touching the lasers is instant death.
Yeah.
So you have to use the concrete block to protect yourself. The most dangerous part is the concrete block can have extra momentum. It will move out of the way of the lasers while you're passing them. And also, there are enemies in this room that can grab you and push you into the lasers.
Yeah, oh, I got grabbed. It's a good job I'm behind the block, though.
Yeah, so that's the first grab he's got in this run. As you see, it's just this like long-ass quick time event that's really annoying. Different enemy types have different length ones. Like, that's one of the really long ones. There are some that are really quick.
Yeah, so in this room, I have to kill the enemies as well, or I can't open the door. It's another one of those ones where I lose time because I have to kill the enemies to...
Oh, it's not much time lost.
It is when you fucking can't shoot the gun, because I can't aim.
That seems like a personal problem.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So yeah, sometimes you can avoid getting hit here. It's pretty random. Sometimes you can just run straight through that area and none of them will hit you. Sometimes, like there, you'll just get hit. So yeah, this has been an example of a mediocre labs. It hasn't been good, it hasn't been bad. I got grabbed once. I mean, it was bad because I missed the clip, but I didn't even get that clip in my world record run. Wow, I stationed you. It's not like I was playing good, Siri. I'm like a minute behind my record, but then again, I didn't do a skip that saved like 30 seconds in that run, so... Now we're just going to go back and we're going to do a puzzle.
So this is just...
long-ass cutscene.
So we've collected all the parts. The parts are all in the center of the room where Ellie and Carver are. and you just have to arrange the parts in the right way. When you're doing it casually, you're supposed to like look at the cross sections and figure out which ones have the cross sections and play like a matching game. But
We know what they are.
that's slow.
This is the only, fun fact, this is the only puzzle in the game that I remember. All the other ones I have written down. This is the only one I know off by heart. But I have messed it up in a run before. Wait, what am I doing? I messed it up. What am I doing? I was talking and I wasn't. had to say that, didn't I?
As he starts talking about how he's
I got into the zone, dude. I was in the zone. I went back to the one on the far end instead of moving this one. I don't know why. I'm very professional, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
So yeah, so now you realize, oh, it's not a person, it's an alien. It's like, okay. So now Isaac's gonna like mind meld with the alien or something, and he finds out the truth behind the machine that they thought was gonna destroy the markers. So what it turns out, Isaac will explain this as well, is that the final stage of a necromorph infection is the necromorphs come together and create a moon. They become a living moon, and the moon will go out and spread its, I don't know, death.
That wasn't me, that was Ryan. He's got a mechanical keyboard, I don't. I wish I had one.
And so the aliens who used to live on this planet got hit by a necromorph infection, and the moon started to form. However, they created a machine and froze the planet and the moon in order to stop the necromorphs coming together to form the moon. So it's like, if they turn it off, the moon will finish forming and come and kill everyone on Earth.
The one problem with the mechanical keyboard is even this one is kind of... if you press the keys on my keyboard a certain way, it kind of comes across as the same kind of feeling. But to do that one Nexus boss like this, where it has to mash F really fast, it's very hard to do that on a mechanical keyboard, because if you don't know, there's like the technique of mashing, you can like vibrate your hand or in some way to press it really fast. You can't do that with a keyboard. So
No, you can.
Yeah, but it's hard. I'm doing it with my left hand, with my finger on my left. Ow.
Try harder.
This isn't the marker homework. Wow. I'm just bad, guys. I'm sorry.
The aliens, they found the markers just like us, and it's spread.
Wonder if there's enough biomass. I don't think there is enough biomass. Oh, there might be. I'm not sure. If there would be enough biomass on Earth, but
The moon is the source of the marker signal, not the machine. The moon is convergence. The aliens, they built a machine to freeze.
yeah. So now Isaac has his like little monologue where he talks to explains the whole thing behind everything, without realizing that Danik is standing right behind him.
Even though you actually see, if you pay attention, you see Danik spawn in as he stands up. You see all of them just pop in. Pay close attention to the top of the screen and you'll see what I mean. Now, you see them just pop in.
Here's the key. Turning it all off. Thank you for doing all the heavy lifting.
So this section really is just a bunch of cutscenes. It's a nice place because the run's pretty long. It's not too long, but it's a nice place to get a bit of downtime is here. After this cutscene, there's something that I don't do, where you can roll through the gas. I just run around.
Stay away from that machine, Danik. No.
Because the one time I tried to do it, I got hit by the gas and lost time.
The natives of this planet.
And I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
doesn't say.
So this is another section where the gas comes out, and the gas that eats your face. This time you can just roll through it.
But as I said, I don't do that.
All of us.
Yeah.
I could just try and do it. Should I try?
Yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah, but
You
I
just
mean the
do, like,
hitbox of
2
the
or 3
gas.
rolls.
If I go too close, I'm just gonna hit it.
Well, just start the roll early and do an extra roll.
Yeah, I'll try and do it. Why not?
And even if you get burnt, what does it matter? You still gotta wait for Ellie to finish talking.
Yeah, so there you can roll through the gas. I did it. I did like 3 rolls to make sure. I just mashed space. It doesn't save time because you still have to wait for this
It
dialogue.
saves like 0.5 of a second because you get to the other side of the door, and you can like clip into Carver a little bit, so he doesn't get in your way.
Ellie, come on! Ellie!
Yeah, but I sucked, so I didn't get to the door fast enough because I did like an extra roll. So, rip Ellie.
So bye Ellie.
Yeah. Even though he clearly doesn't, he doesn't even say anything to her, he just shuts the door.
Hey! That gas is still coming! We gotta go!
Do you take damage from the gas if you roll through it?
Not really. Gas doesn't do much damage.
She knew better than anyone how important
You just eat your face.
we've got to.
Yeah, if only Ellie could just have rolls like Isaac, she'd be fine.
Do you got it? Then let's go! Isaac, now!
I wish there was a mod for like Dead Space 2 where you could roll and crash. It'd be so good.
Isaac!
These cutscenes right here are really good if you have the broken suit, but of course Ryan had to ruin that. I was actually contemplating not doing that time save just to keep the broken suit for the whole run, but there is a trick coming up that if I fail, I have to reload the game anyway, so I'd lose it. So I thought, what's the point? It's probably one of the hardest tricks in the... It's not...
It's definitely the hardest trick in the game.
And it's like right
All
at
the
the
other
end
tricks
too.
aren't that hard.
Danik is headed down to that machine. We can't let him shut it down.
Then we're gonna make sure he never gets there.
So right here, co-op would end, and then you'd be able to play, but there's an extra little bit of cutscene. Like, you can see them get ready to stance to move, and that's when co-op would
Then
cut.
yeah.
But
It starts another cutscene because you need to separate Carver from Isaac so the game doesn't become an escort mission for in single player.
if I would prefer an escort mission, if you could like place him where you wanted to, you just click through the wall and skip labs.
Okay. All right. Just hey, keep your head, man. I can't do this without you.
Clearly says, I'll take floor 1, you take floor 2. There's only one floor. Considering you say you're gonna take, which one does Isaac say he's gonna take? You take floor 1, I'll take floor 2. You are on floor 1.
No, he's not. There's a sub-level. You can't get to it, but there is a sub-level, and that's how Carver gets over to...
Oh right, okay. Well, I mean the game doesn't
Descent.
exactly explain that. So we just have to kill these enemies as fast as we can. You don't have to kill all of them. There's just a certain amount you have to kill, and then the elevator
Generally
will
speaking, you
unlock.
have to kill all of them.
I think you
I'm
can
pretty sure
leave
you can
like
leave, like,
one alive.
One necromorph. I know you have to kill all the soldiers.
Okay, there we go. Now the elevator's open. So, if you're wondering, coming up, I'll hit a progress saving when I go through the door. That's the checkpoint that co-op would hit to skip labs.
Yeah, co-op can skip all of what we just did. And
But
just get
co-op
straight to
basically
the
kicks out of
section.
bounds where I'm aiming there. The scale up, I scale up the wall, get onto the roof of this area. Oh, this is really slow. Get onto the roof of this area, and then I basically drop down and hit the checkpoint behind this door. So as you'll see, it'll say progress saving, and that's the checkpoint co-op would hit to skip all of what I just did. Yeah, we just have to kill these dudes as fast as we can. Oh my god, what? That was so slow. Oh, what am I doing? Oh no. I went the wrong way with one of the analog sticks. It's been a while since I've done this puzzle. It's hard to do that one fast.
Yeah, it's even harder to do it with a mouse. It's all the weird angles.
Right, so now we are in descent. And I'm going to be doing probably the hardest trick in the run. Descent skip.
Like I said, it's definitely the hardest trick in the run.
And if I fail it, I have to reload the chapter again. But luckily enough, the chapter starts from like right at the top, so it's not that bad. So this is where I would have used the grenade launcher if I could take damage. But basically at the bottom of this rappel. I'll let you explain it.
Essentially what we're trying to do is you can either spam forward and back at the bottom of this rappel, or you can use an explosive, and what it does is it knocks you out of bounds while you're connected to the rappel. And so once you're out of bounds, we go to the side and we actually let go of our cable out of bounds and we just fall, and then we do a bunch of other stuff to keep falling further, which Matt can probably explain as he's doing it because I'm a bit behind on the stream.
Right, yeah. So
the rest of the fall.
Now I'm falling. You always land in the same place every time, and you land on this ledge. I'm gonna aim at a little bit of an angle and roll off. So when I land, I want to aim relatively at like just at an angle, just in this direction. Just tap S. You want to tap it. You want to keep doing it at a rhythm. If you do it too slow, you'll miss the area.
This trick saves about 5 or 6 minutes.
We land here. Come over here. Aim and walk off this ledge. We'll load in the final part. Walk off to the right. Drop down here. Roll off here. Turn around. And we're going to walk back until I start sliding down. Oh no! Okay, that should be alright. Did I hit it? Oh, thank fuck for that. So what happened there was I pressed back too much and I fell. What I was supposed to do was when I started to slide down the collision, I was going to do a back roll, and then I always put you in the cutscene. But luckily enough, I caught onto the collision as I was falling and it reset me. So that was lucky. So yeah, that's probably the hardest trick in the run out of the way.
Yeah. There are 2 versions of this trick. That trick he just did. There's regular and what we call extended. Pretty much all the runs do it like now do extended, which is where you hit this cutscene trigger. There's a checkpoint trigger a bit before that's a bit easier to hit, which is the regular one. The trick is really tough because like the outside of this level is really weird in that you can randomly give Isaac enough momentum that he just flies off the map so fast that the player camera does not keep up.
You should explain the old way we used to do that. The first drop. The old way we used to do descent, where you used to just stand there.
Oh, well, that's just you stand there and slide off.
Yeah, and it was random. Sometimes you'd land and sometimes you'd just fall. And then I figured out the way to just roll off the side because I don't think Ryan was smart enough to try. No, I'm joking, mate. So bounce.
One of the most interesting things, actually, when you notice this skip, is that there's actually an animation for Isaac falling.
Yeah.
Now, having played all 3 Dead Space games quite a lot, there is only one location in any of the Dead Space games where Isaac can fall.
Isn't that in Dead Space 1 on an elevator?
The game. And it's in Dead Space 1. And it's there's an elevator that you can drop down onto as it's coming up.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why I mentioned it. Like, there's an elevator that, as it's coming up, there's an enemy on it and you can just drop into it. So now we have the best cutscene in the whole game. We call it the heart to heart. I'll just let you enjoy because it's so good. Yeah. Even though Ryan wants to skip
Unfortunately, Isaac and Carver do not kiss at the end of this cutscene, which would have made the game so much better.
That must be the machine. So I guess this is it, huh? Yeah. This is it.
It leads up to the moment. This is it, boys. This is the run.
Promise me something. If I don't make it, you get this done, right?
We'll get this done, Carver. You and me.
Yeah. If I don't... I helped get us this far. And that's close enough for all this to count, right?
Count for what?
So,
I alienated my son, wrecked my family. Isaac, I killed Santos. Is that what a good man does?
Good men mean well. You just don't always end up doing well.
there's one more skip left in this run. I call it 18 skip because I wasn't in with the lingo when I came around, but it's actually called Alien Machine skip. How much time?
Well,
It saves a lot of time, doesn't it?
Saves like 10-15 minutes. We call it that, Matt, because chapter 18 is it's called the Alien Machine.
Yeah, but I wasn't in with the lingo. I just called it 18 skip. My splits don't lie. So, I'm gonna do a boost here. Basically, there's you get one of these explosive things and you put it in the rock and then it blows up. But I'm just gonna boost over the rock because
This boost doesn't save time.
it does for me.
It's
'Cause
just
you suck.
that was harsh.
Well,
But
I do it faster than
It
you.
saves like no time at all. I don't
It's
think,
just more
I think I'm
safe,
just doing
you
it
could say.
slow.
So I'm going to boost up this wall. Watch how fast I do it then, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to boost up this wall. When I see Isaac's head go across that line, I turn right, and then I get over the rock. There's a skip here, but fuck that.
Yeah, the skip that he's talking about is to skip the little cutscene he's about to enter that's like 5 seconds long, and it's pretty hard to do, and if you mess it up, you have to redo this whole area from the cutscene before.
So now these are the explosive things I was talking about. We have to blow these ones up, we can't boost over them.
The old DS discussion with Dead Space, Dark Souls, and Darksiders.
Alright, so I'm going to shoot this
I think
explosive.
it's like Dead Space 1 is DS1, but I think Dark Souls 2 has DS2, and then Dead Space 3 has DS3, I think.
Dead Space, Dead Space wins. It's got more of the abbreviations, dude. It wins. It's got Dead Space 1 and 3. So yeah, now we're just gonna do a lot of these hack puzzles and just play
There's a lot of these like, oh, the alien screams at you, and then you gotta make the same sound to open the door.
But they're all the same every time, so I just haven't written down. These, like as I said, the only one I don't have written down is that labs puzzle, which is the one I actually messed up. And the only reason I messed it up was because I was talking, and I did the wrong thing. Oh, the big monster hit me and slowed me down. So now this zero-G area is pretty annoying on keyboard and mouse, but
It's actually pretty disorientating until you get used to this room.
You know, I've got a feeling what I'm gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
With the 18 skip, I feel like I'm gonna fall off the top because when I was practicing, I didn't move my mouse fast enough and I fell.
Anyway, that blue circle on the ground he passed through just before, what that does is that increases the power of stasis and kinesis. So stasis becomes basically a complete freeze, and kinesis can now grab larger objects and also just completely rip limbs off of necromorphs. So at this point in the game, you basically become unstoppable because you can just stand on that platform and just kinesis every enemy to death instead of actually shooting. But that's slow, so we're not going to do it.
This puzzle's just the two on the left you move all the way up, and then the two in the middle you move in the middle. As I say, it's the same every time.
There's a pattern on the wall behind him that he has to copy.
There's also another one of those you have to do, but we're going to skip it. You basically come back, but we won't be coming back.
This isn't the city, Carver. This is the
Okay, you're the engineer. How do we fix it?
Follow Serrano's clues to reconfigure the machine.
I
I just opened a conduit to the heart of the city. If there's a control center for the Codex, that's where it'll be. Meet me there.
So here's another one of these. Wait, is this the next one or that? No, this is the next one, isn't it?
Hmm?
When you fly in the, when you like gravity flying, this is like the second one in the whole run, right?
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah. You don't do any more, so yeah, this is where we get introduced to this again, right at the end.
Oh, well, unless you count the ship flying to the planet.
That doesn't count.
It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about flying as Isaac, not as a ship. But I mean, it controls the same.
It's not a machine to make a moon, it's a machine to freeze or destroy a moon. Anyway, he's passed through this last area.
Right,
just
so
gonna go, just run through and just open the next door, pretty much.
now we're gonna do 18 skip. There's an enemy we're gonna shoot. Sometimes he'll do some bullshit where he won't actually die, and we have to kill an extra enemy.
The enemy's on the floor and hasn't been activated yet, and if he pops up, then it spawns a bunch more enemies. So we try to shoot him before we get to him. But if it triggers the I'm gonna switch forms, then you have to activate him and kill the rest of the enemies.
I got the good RNG on him, though, so yeah.
Nice. So this is another one of those run into the wall and climb the wall.
Oh, I fell off. Fuck. My angle was bad, and then I didn't move
fall
my
off,
mouse
like
enough.
right at the top.
Yeah, but no, I mean when I started climbing the wall, my mouse was too much to the left, so I just walked off the left-hand side.
So yeah, we do a little climb onto the railing to get out of bounds, and then we're gonna climb this pillar.
I mean, since there'll probably be time left after the one, I could show that Roanoke skip. But then, now that I'm saying, I'll probably die on everything now until the end.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's not interesting. It's not that interesting.
Oh yes, I turned my mouse.
I would
right.
say do Awakened if you had time, but I know you haven't practiced it, and I know you don't really like.
I don't know where the checkpoint is, or I would.
Yeah, but you, like I said, you haven't practiced it, so.
So we hit the checkpoint, and that puts us after the, like right at the end of chapter 18. So we basically skip all of it. That trick isn't that bad, but there is some times where you can fall. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that.
So this is the last rappel section in the game, and it's really annoying because it's got these jets of air that come out that will knock you down. Can I do Awakened?
I mean, you could.
I refuse to run that game. Well, run that category because the trick is just awful. And it's like, hey, this run might be 10 minutes or it might be 30 because the trick just doesn't want you to do it.
Well, let's see if I get past these lights now. I'm not going to make that. No way. Oh, I made it nice. Yeah, now as you can see, Ellie's alive. We skipped the thing where you find out she's actually alive. But, yeah. She didn't die.
Yeah, she made it out through the air vents. How she outran the gas through the air vents, we'll never know. I'll be right on schedule? Okay, cool. Well, this run should end. This run will be ahead of the estimate because the estimate's 230, and this is going to be like a sub 220 run, most likely.
I don't know why I put my estimate so high. It was a 240 until the new skip was found.
Well, no, because when you put your estimate, your time was still a 225.
Yeah, my time was a 225.
Yeah, 225. Oh, if we cannot, we reran. Alright. So it'll work. It'll all work out. So yeah. Carver in his stupidity gave Danik the codex, which is the key to activate the machine. So Danik activated the machine, and now the moon has thawed. And now Danik's dead.
What an ironic way to die.
Just, yeah, he just gets crushed by a rock.
And the funny thing is, they could just remove the marker right now, and I mean the codex right now, but they're just literally standing diddling around.
It's like they have to turn it the other way in order to stop what's happening and kill the moon. But they're gonna stand here and have a chat first.
and then miss out.
I turned my back on the world because I was afraid of what needed to be done. Ellie.
So yeah, this last stretch isn't too difficult. All the hard stuff's done. I'm glad that I didn't fail any of the tricks in the run. That's the main thing about any % New Game Plus on this game is the skips, and I didn't fail any.
And New Game, just any % in general is like get all these tricks.
Yeah. And then I'll just optimized foam finger bang bang, and that's it.
Yeah. So Isaac and Ellie gonna have a bit of a make-out session here. And even here, like, Ellie could have just, you know, as she's walking past, just turned the thing.
I know, yeah. And there's the moon. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's the best way to describe it.
It's a moon.
Yeah. Now, as casually, this final boss is...
It's cool.
Yeah, but as a speedrun, it's fucking boring. That's the best way to describe it. It's not hard. You can lose time, but that's only of your stupidity.
Yeah, pretty much. Or and marker RNG.
It's not bad RNG, dude.
Well, no, if you don't get marker spawns.
That's a good point. But, yeah. So we're not at the boss
Anyway.
yet, though. We've got to do some running and some bang bangs.
Still got chapter 19 to go yet, which is mostly just running. The ground is actually being destroyed behind you, so you can't. If you go too slow in this level, you'll die. And that's even casually. If you go too slow, you'll die. But basically, this is just run through the area, shoot some tentacles.
Where am I
and
going?
then get to the final boss.
I don't know why I turned there. I got confused for a second. That's the first time I've ever got confused on this level where I went to turn the wrong way. So these things don't come active to shoot straight away, so I'm going to run as close to this as I can and then turn and shoot them. They're both one-hit kills with the foam finger, but you can't actually destroy them instantly. You have to wait a little bit, so I just take that time to get closer to the way to go. And now here's another flying section. Now I'm going to do a fly that's going to look really risky, but it always works. So I'm going to hold like A and S to go like back left. I get really close to this rock, but it never kills me. I may stop doing it because it looks risky, but I've never been killed by it. Yeah, so these things here can sometimes hit you. There's sometimes you can avoid them. I'm pretty sure there is a way to avoid it, but I just don't know how.
Yeah, the Medusas are the most pointless enemy I've ever seen them add to this game. They don't do anything.
Yeah, I got hit by one, that's okay.
The only time they appear that isn't in a jump section is in the chapter 17 optional mission, I believe. One of the optional missions has a 0G section where they're just kind of sitting there.
Do you know, I just realised I don't think I was holding shift for the last few bits of that flight. I don't know why. I wasn't holding it. It's not that big of a deal. So as you'll see now, I'm going to shoot this one instantly. You'll see what I mean, that you can't destroy it straight away. Until the game recognises that it's ready to be destroyed. Oh, that puke nearly hit me. I saw the puke fly past me, dude. By the way, if you get hit by pukers in this game, on Dead Space 2 you can heal to stop the slow walking, but on this game you can't, so if I get hit I have to literally wait it out.
In Dead Space 2, also it gets removed if you take damage.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See, I'm a Dead Space 3 guy. I did like 2 runs of Dead Space 2. Right, so here we go. The epic showdown.
This cutscene here where he gets blown out is actually really funny if you have the broken suit, because the game doesn't know what to do with your helmet.
Yeah, but of course, as I said like numerous times throughout this run, Ryan had to ruin that. No, I'm never gonna let you live that down, dude. You've ruined the best thing about this game.
I apologize for finding time saves.
Dude, it's only 30 seconds.
You've got world record by less than that.
I know.
So yeah, just fly through this last section, and then it's the final boss. Now, the final boss is thematically pretty cool, because you have to destroy it using markers, so it's like, oh, you destroy the big bad of the necromorphs using what creates them. But in actuality, it's mostly just sitting here juggling markers and just waiting.
Yeah. It's pretty... Casually, it's like, oh yeah! Speedrun, it's like, I'm gonna lose time on this, that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna lose record on basically a thing where you just literally all I'm gonna do is walk backwards and wait. So, how are you guys doing? Tell me how your day has been today. I can just kill these guys that's in these rocks. Now, these rock things you can actually break with the foam finger. You can't with any other gun, I don't think.
No, no.
Usually you'd have to wait for
them. And they have necromorphs in them, and the necromorphs have to come out otherwise. So, one other thing I just realized, Matt. In single player, Carver is on the thing with the switch right now.
Is he?
He could have just turned it.
Have you teleported?
What? That's just like, that's where they stick him in single player.
So he's on there?
Yeah.
So he's already waiting, okay.
You know, he's like, Carver, hang on, I'm just gonna pull you through its guts. He's like...
So basically just keep as many markers as close as we can. And we want to shoot...
all this is joking.
We want to shoot the eyes from right to left because it's the fastest way to destroy them, because you would have to wait for him to turn. See this eye's on the left? I'm going to try and wait a little bit to hit the one on the right. If I can't, I'll just hit the one on the left.
Are you going to take out your other weapon for this?
Yeah, I missed anyway.
Yeah. It can be difficult to aim the markers at such a long distance shots because the markers have a weird collision box, as well as the fact that it's such long distance shots. It's really hard to aim it if you're holding the foam finger, but if you switch to your other weapon, you can use the aiming reticule to kind of get a judge of where it's going to go.
So I'm just like trying to get as many markers as I can. The more you have, the more shots you can, risky shots you can take to try and save some time. But sometimes these rock things that come down can knock them out of the way. And also when he starts sucking in the platform, they can also move them and they can... Off. Most of the time if you shoot the things fast enough, you can get them. I missed that. Well, I'm gonna just wait this out. I'm gonna be safe. There we go. Now we just kinesis this thing that Carver is in, according to Oh yeah, I can see him! I can see him! It's a little Carver! You can actually see him, dude. That's so good. So what's funny is you're supposed to be standing on this platform to move this, but you can literally just move off of it and it doesn't matter. Also, I can let go of I'm not holding my mouse, my keyboard, I'm not doing anything, and it just does it for you. So I don't see the point. But yeah. If you stand on this platform or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, get ready on time.
Yeah, I'll say when. I'll say time, yeah. It's basically after finish the last QTE. Right, time's coming up soon. Time.
So this is it, huh? We use that codex.
Wasn't even a sub 218, dude, Rick.
Bullshit.
That was a pretty good run.
But Earth gets it tomorrow.
Yeah. Now we get to watch this amazing cutscene. Thanks for the GGs, guys. I had fun. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Pretty good run too.
I didn't make myself
like
look
what?
like a...
Just under a minute behind record.
Wait, record's 216.
No, 216. Sorry, I thought the record was in 217.
Yeah,
So, like,
record is 216.31. So it was like 1 minute 40 slower. That's not that bad though.
nice. Yeah, it was really good actually.
Yeah, so basically the whole thing about this is Isaac is now supposedly dead. But if you
Except
watch
at the end of it.
if you watch to the end of the credits, you find that he actually isn't.
And then obviously there's the DLC which takes place afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. That's actually a story. So I was running co-op with Greg, and Descent Skip, which is the one where I fell down that shaft after like letting go of the rope, and then I did some stuff out of bounds. That trick has to be done a different way on co-op. You have to hit the checkpoint, because if you hit the cutscene on co-op, the co-op player is despawned, and if you hit that cutscene, it soft locks the game. It doesn't progress. And when I was running with Greg once, I was concentrating so much I forgot to do the co-op version, and I hit the cutscene. I did extended, and I basically lost us the run because I wasn't paying attention. I did the harder version of the skip and messed it up. So, yeah.
Nice, dude.
Nice. No, but then
Yeah,
again,
this is-
we did another run after, and we got the 232, and it was so good. So, you know, stuff happens for a
So this
reason.
is Ellie like just crying over the fact that Isaac's dead. And it's like, hey, you guys did it. You won. Now I'm gonna leave you here. Well, she thinks they're dead, but
They're just floating.
they're not floating. They're on the planet.
How did they get back down?
The moon came down to them when they did the machine. Remember?
Oh yeah.
The moon came down into the atmosphere.
If I knew how to do Awakened, I could remember, I would have done it, because it's only like 13 minutes. But
No,
you know,
I think having this go to up below estimate actually puts them back on track. I think Sui was saying that. So
yeah, it's good anyway. So yeah, that was Dead Space 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the run.
do you know what's up next?
I think it's Lifeline, something along those lines. I had a look at it before. It was something called that.
Yeah, Lifeline.
Yeah,
by
I remember, dude. I'm good.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, I had fun.
Cheers.